All right.
Did you watch any of the
Excellent.
Bengals game?
Oh, yes, I did.
All right. What are your thoughts on the Bengals?
They have a lot. I'm not sure what they were doing in the offseason. I really don't.
Okay.
I don't understand what they were doing in the offseason because their preseason game was just looked bad. They just looked bad.
So we're talking like, let's just focus on the starters.
Okay.
So let's talk about Joe Burrow and the first team offense. What do you think? I'll go first if you don't have any words right now.
Go ahead.
So I thought it was interesting. They ran a lot of under center stuff, and I know Burrow likes to be in shotgun. Yeah. And they're running a lot of under center stuff.
Why?
And well, their offense last year took an evolution. When they do that stand up and sit back and off like under shotgun, they become one dimensional and just throw the ball all the time.
Yep.
So what they did was they tried to go under center more, run more play action, run more other things like just running the ball and play action to try to open up some more of the passing game because you've got, Higgins and Chase and Yosevich and was that a thing? Yosevich, whoever this guy is. Yeah. Yosevich. And you got your tight ends and they've got a lot of weapons. So they like to throw and they tend to get to be a pass happy team. And then that turns Joe Burrow into like this statue that stands back there because he is not a guy that's going out running. Like he is that Tom Brady like type of player where you're just going to stand there and throw the football. Like we were talking earlier, that's not who the NFL is today. So they've got to find a way to take pressure off him because I don't know who the heck is playing left tackle for Cincinnati, but that guy is terrible. I think it was like Orlando Brown. Is that guy still out there? I don't know when Orlando Brown. Who was it? The big giant dude they got out there is terrible.
Yeah.
He is going to single-handedly kill Joe Burrow. But, so they're under center more to have a running game. And they do a lot of play action off that under center. And in the toward the end of last year, that actually started to work for them. But the preseason game was very predictable. If you're under center, it's either a run or play action. Like that's it. You're not dropping back and throwing like a timing route from under center. They're not doing it. And I get it because the shotgun is actually analytically more feasible toward positive gains in terms of the passing game because you have a better look. You can see the field more as opposed to lose a couple seconds on your drop, seeing how the field unfolds. So at least right now, it's very kind of two-dimensional where it's if you're in a shotgun, you're pretty much just throwing the football.
Yeah.
And there might be an occasional run to keep people honest, but you're out there to throw the football. And if you're under center, you're out there to run the football, and you might occasionally throw in a play action to keep people honest, but you're there to run the football. And I don't know if it's like we're just trying to keep it interesting for Burrow or we're trying to keep him healthy or because part of his health situation is he's not exactly a mobile guy. So if you're not mobile, defenses can tee off on you. This is literally the discussion we were having earlier about the mobile quarterbacks. They can tee off on you. And I don't care if you have all pros all across your offensive line, defenses are going to find ways to hit the quarterback. In this day and age, there's just too much complexity out there. So there has to be some kind of distraction going on. So it's like the play action's becoming their distraction. The running game, you have to run the ball more because you can't just sit there and put your quarterback out there 50 times throwing the football. So you have to run the ball more.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it's week one, but I think their offense now, all that said, okay, their ones looked good against the Lions twos. I mean, they looked like they could do whatever they wanted against the twos. So, I mean, but that's who the Lions threw out there. What can the Bengals do? Like it's preseason. This is what you got, right? So the Lions threw their twos out there, and the Bengals had their way with the twos, and that's what they should do, and that's what they should look like. I'm just wondering what direction their offense is going and what their offensive strategy is. If it's becoming like we have to do things to keep Burrow healthy, we have to manufacture his health.
I guess that's what we're talking.
You've got to like change your scheme to keep him healthy. It literally looks like what they're doing. Like his strength is literally throwing the ball all over the place.
Right.
But you can't do that all the time because he's going to get hurt, as we have seen in previous years.
Yeah.
So now you have to have a running game. Otherwise, you're going to get your quarterback killed. And it's like they have to kind of like handicap themselves to continue on their offense.
Now, did the Bengals have all their ones out on their offensive line? Because it didn't look like...
I don't know about their offensive line. Clearly, they had their skill position players out there for the first couple drives.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't think of the guy's name. I want to say it was Orlando. It wasn't Orlando Pace, but it's that guy Brown, the big, huge guy named Brown. Played for the Chiefs for a while. Played in Baltimore, I think, for a while.
Yeah.
And just this massive dude. Like, he was not good. He was big and slow, and it looked bad. It looked bad. And I'm sure they got him just like grab Myles Garrett and hold him. Like, I'm sure that's what it was. Like, grab Myles Garrett and hang on for your life because your job is to keep Joe Burrow upright, and that's it. Like,
Right.
we don't care how many penalties you get. It's
Right.
Myles Garrett, so they're not going to call him anyway. So just grab Myles Garrett and hold him. You know, I don't know.
Do you feel like those were all coaches' calls and stuff like that, putting Burrow under center like that, or
it was a lot for that offense, and I think it was consistent with what they were doing last year at the end of the year. And I think their offense got better for it. But on some respects, my point here is you're kind of like saying we're good at this one thing, but we can't do it all the time because we're going to like not be able to do it if we do it all the time. So we have to do something that
outside
it's like we have to play left-handed football so we can play right-handed football. We want to play right-handed football because we're right-handed, but we can't because we're going to get hurt if we do it too much. It's like playing with fire. So we got to play left-handed for a while to try to let the right hand operate. It's just kind of a weird thing. And it comes back to Burrow is not mobile. And you know, if he was a mobile guy, I mean, maybe somebody's going to say, oh, he's mobile, he runs, blah, blah, blah. No, he doesn't. He doesn't. Okay. He's running when like you got man and everybody's running down the field and you got a big wide open space and he runs into it. I could do that at 51 years old. Burrow can do it. And he's younger and faster and stronger than I am right now. So he can do it. But we're talking about Lamar Jackson kind of stuff when I talk about mobile. We're talking about can you have a design rollout and run past defenders to get there? And that's just not Burrow right now.
Right. Yeah. And you don't want that to be him, right? The Bengals are just as handcuffed as they were last year, having all of their money wrapped up in their receiving core. And if you can't get the quarterback to get the ball off to them, you know, they're going to go 500.
And that's why they're running the football. They're just kind of like, okay, we're going to run the football just to keep our guy healthy. And that way he can throw the football. It's just a weird situation, you know, and it kind of details, I think it's very much, I mean, they're going to be good. I don't want anybody to think that the Steelers or the Bengals are going to be bad. They're going to be good. Okay. It's just a kind of countercultural offense because you have a quarterback that is very, very good at staying in the pocket and picking people off. You like boom, 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 throw the ball all over the field. And you've got good enough receivers that can get open and he can do that. The issue is just if you stand there and run a drop back offense, even if it's out of shotgun, teams are going to hit you. Right. They're just going to, and they're trying to mitigate that. They've tried for a long time to mitigate that with quick passes or let's beef up our offensive line. And now they've just kind of got to the point where we're just going to run the football. Right. It's almost like I give up. We're just going to run a football, you know, kind of situation with it. But they're going to be good with it. I mean, that's the thing. They're a good football team, and the threat of that run, that pass game, will allow that run to happen. Right. Just having those guys on the field is going to let you run the football. Because you're not going to be able to load the box.
Right.
And once you start loading the box, you're going to get hit deep. And Burrow will knock you off deep. So you can't. You have to have 5 backs out there.
Yeah. They're going to play defenses though that have linebackers that, you know, are going to see that right off the bat and just absolutely going to cue off it. So
it's a throwback offense. It really looks like it's going to be like a partially throwback offense. And it's because you have a kind of throwback quarterback. Now, they're going to be good at it. Their success this season is going to come on defense, right? We know what the offense is. We know they can score points. The question is, can they stop other people from scoring points? And I don't think they had their first team out there on defense. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what it's going to look like.
We'll see in a couple weeks here.
But I will say this. I still like them on paper to win the division. I still think they're the team that's going to win the division.
What? Not the Ravens?
I don't like the Ravens. Now, that's just a personal, emotional response.
Watch that game? Did you watch that game?
I did. I watched Tyler Huntley and Pro Bowl Tyler Huntley go out there and just throw all over the Eagles, who I don't know who they're playing. I didn't recognize a single name on that defense. And, you know, we all know that Tyler Huntley was a Pro Bowler, so we know he's good. So I don't know. I mean, both teams ran a very generic kind of offense. I'm more of an offensive line guy. I really didn't check to see what they were doing on defense. I need to go back and really look at that on their defense. I was just kind of seeing what their linebackers were doing, and it looked like they had a 2 linebacker set, but you could sit there and do anything schematic wise with 2 linebackers. But I don't know. I think as long as they got Marlon Humphrey out there, they've got their version of Joey Porter. So, you know, going to grab and hold and, you know, all this kind of stuff and choke people, punch, fight, you know, that's what the Ravens do. They just play that dirty brand of football. I really kind of hope that with the new coach, they don't play that kind of like nasty kind of just we're going to go out there and act like hooligans. But, I mean, their fans act like hooligans. So maybe they're just a city of hooligans.
I'll go with you on that.
Yeah, there's just a bunch of hooligans. We're from Baltimore. Like, one of our presidents called it a crap town at one point. So, I mean,
yeah, crap town.
I'm saying this as a Browns fan, and it's purely an emotional response. So just putting it out there. I don't know. I mean, the Ravens just looked very generic.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to tell because it's not like they were even trying. I mean, I feel like they weren't even trying. Like they're just, let's go out there and run base plays and just move on.
Well, they've got a new head coach now, right?
Yeah. Right. But I mean, how new of a head coach is he? Because he was at one point the defensive coordinator for Harbaugh. And then he went out he was a defensive line or maybe linebackers coach for Harbaugh. I forget. He was a defensive position coach. Then he went and coached the other Harbaugh out in Los Angeles as defensive coordinator. And this is like after, I think he's still serving a ban from the NCAA for show just cause to actually coach college football because of all the cheating that went on in Michigan. And he was in the middle of that situation. But he can't be a head coach in college football. But the NFL has no problem making him a head coach for the Baltimore Ravens. And nobody said jack about the idea that this guy is currently on suspension in the NCAA for cheating while at Michigan. So I don't know. I mean, like, he has very close ties to Harbaugh. It's like you fired Harbaugh and brought on his cousin. Like it's the same guy.
Harbaugh light, yeah.
It's the same guy doing the same thing. I've been curious about their defense now because they've been signing all these hand in the ground kind of defenders to be edge players, which really isn't their style. But they didn't really put anybody out there that would make you think this is what they're doing with defense because they like that stand up kind of like TJ Watt kind of guy, right? You're not really a hand in the ground taking on an offensive tackle to stop the run and set an edge kind of situation. You're kind of like you could drop, you could play an edge, you can rush the quarterback. It kind of depends on what the situation. They like those kind of guys, but then they're signing really like straight up legit 4-3 defensive ends. So I don't know. Didn't see anything to make me think they were doing anything different on defense, but it was a very generic kind of game. Then it's hard for me to watch the Ravens.
Even on fast forward.
If I had to sit and listen to
if
I had to sit there and listen to the Ravens announcers, I think I would just like punch the TV. I mean, I can't. Well, I mean, just imagine if your owner up and moved the Steelers and, they hadn't had a losing season in 20 years and you up and move them and then they go win the Super Bowl. I mean, I think you'd be pretty upset too. Then you get this team that like the NFL set up to be just a piece of garbage and has almost actively worked to keep them being a piece of garbage. So like, you'd be upset too. So, I'm just saying, I have an emotional response to the Ravens.
All right.
I don't know. I think their schedule, I mean, I was kind of mentioning this to my son yesterday, like their schedule's really set up. And he's like, well, they play all the same teams. It doesn't matter that you play all the same teams. It's when you play
them. Yeah.
Like it's when you play them that's important. And that's like one season, the Ravens like played 4 rookie quarterbacks to start the season. Like, well, how does it even work? And like they're scoring 70 points on teams because the other team's offense is run by a rookie that can't do anything. You play the cupcakes early. The Ravens got that play the cupcakes early situation, and then they're going to end with a lot of AFC North games. And if it's still close, then yeah, they're going to have a gauntlet to run through. But I have this feeling that it's not going to be close. Either they're going to run away with it, or the Bengals are going to run away with it. One of the two. I mean, I think the Steelers are going to kind of hang in there and make it interesting. It depends on Aaron Rodgers' health. If he's healthy and the whole team can get on the same page, they could be interesting in the mix. Could be a wild card, but the Browns are going to be in last. They look like a last place team right now. They do. I mean, they look like a last place team. I mean, it's just, you got a lot of rookies starting on your team, on your offensive line. You got rookies starting in your skill position. You got second-year players. You don't have a strong central quarterback. They look like a team that's not going to score a lot of points.
Right. So who's in the depth chart beyond Shador? Who's that? Gosh, what's his name?
Dylan Gabriel. Please let us cut him. He's terrible. It's terrible. We were joking. Maybe we can get a 3rd-round pick from the Falcons for him because, the Falcons are out of quarterbacks and they have a lot of lefties and they got Kevin Stefanski and Gabriel was Stefanski's little boy. So, like, maybe we could trade him to Atlanta.
Ooh.
We get a 5 maybe. We drafted him in a 3. Maybe we can get a 5.
Gosh.
Dylan Gabriel also threw an interception. Looked exactly like Shador Sanders' interception, except coming out of his left hand. Must have slipped out of his left hand.
Yeah, it was slippery on the
Flew
left
high.
hand. Yeah.
Sails high, right at the defender.
Slippy balls. That's the excuse for the Browns
I will say this:
this
my son and
preseason.
I always appreciate a preseason loss, and it's PTSD is what it is.
Yeah.
The Browns went 3
Hmm.
and looked like they were going to be like a good team. Yeah, we're going to win football games. Then they promptly went 1-15. Then they went 3-0 in the preseason. Like, okay, we're going to win more than one game this year. Then went
Certainly.
0-16. So you have to have a preseason loss to keep you humble, to keep you to remember that like we do suck.
Okay.
We're terrible. Yeah,
Okay.
we have to work. If you go 3 and like that, we're just like it's over. We're like the defeated team.
Okay.
But yeah, we were watching this stuff up and we're like, this does not look good. It doesn't even look like it has the
Yeah.
potential to be good. And it'll probably be like 4 or 5 on the draft pick. You might
Yeah.
win 5 games if you're like the ceiling might be 6 and the floor might be 3 on this team. And the
Yeah.
question is, who do you beat? I mean, it depends on which Tampa Bay team you get, which Carolina team you get, because those teams are all hot or cold. And if you can get overlooking you, like I think they could win 3 games just from teams overlooking, like, oh, we're playing the Browns. They
Yeah.
suck. And then the Browns come out and beat them like that. Those
Hmm.
are the wins they're going to get this year. I just,
Yeah.
they're
That's
going to have
just
to do something.
I gotta tell you, Joel, this is just fascinating. We're just into the first week of preseason games in the NFL, and my buddy who's a Browns fan is like already talking trade capital and what where you're going to be in the draft.
It was that bad of a game. Like if you're even watching the first teamers and they're playing against the Bears second teamers,
Yeah.
when your first teamers look bad against the Bears second teamers, it's not a
Hmm.
good situation. That offensive
Yeah.
line is a mess. I don't care how many skill positions you have. If you can't block up the middle and the Browns cannot block up the middle, you're not doing anything. So
Is it
it's week 1. I'll give them a chance, but the players they have and the history of those players are not suggestive that it's going to get better.
is this coaching at all? Like, is
I,
this
I think
like
it's the players right now. I think they sign a couple free agents that are good pass blockers and terrible run blockers, or they're good run blockers and terrible pass blockers. And you get into the game, and those people who are terrible at run blocking were terrible at run blocking. The people who were terrible at pass blocking were
Mhm.
terrible at pass blocking. And they didn't work as a cohesive unit. I mean, you got to remember the Browns got rid of their entire offensive line. Their entire offensive line. So it
Yeah.
is like a whole entirely new room. So they don't work together. They're not cohesive. It takes years for linemen to really work together
Yeah.
in a way. And the Browns have reset that. And they brought in free agents, who are all like placeholders. They're not permanent situations, right? And they have warts and you know what the warts are, and they go out against second teamers and you can see the warts. Not a good situation. So I mean,
Yeah.
this is my son's like, who do you think we're going to draft next year? I think we're going to draft a whole bunch of offensive linemen. Like we're going to draft centers
Yeah.
and guards and probably another offensive tackle. I mean, you need it all.
Yeah, and it'll still be a rebuilding year. To your
Mm-hmm.
point, that it's going to take, even if you draft an entire new offensive line with all of those picks you're going to have, right? It's going to take 2 to 3 years to get them to gel, right?
Yeah, they're really building for like the dome in 29. I can't see this
Yeah,
team being really good before 28, 29. And that's if you can
yeah,
hit on a quarterback in 27, have a terrible rookie year coming into your second year and hit your stride. Then
yeah,
you're talking 29 with a rookie quarterback. So
yeah, yeah. We
it,
had like we had all those passes go off, during the preseason game for the Steelers, and we had our second string offensive line out there, right? We
mhm,
had Broderick Jones, who came off of a severe injury. He was out there, right? Just you know you know, IR guys out there, giving enough time to Drew Aller to go in and throw a touchdown pass, right? Yeah.
mhm,
They had plenty of time with our second round, right? Our first round guys. It's all a matter of just like you said, they played together as a team for years, and it's just plugging them in at the right places, right? Yeah,
mhm,
we went a few years with our right tackle having to play left tackle, right? It's hard to do, right? Like if you come out of college, you spent all that time at right tackle, and they say, hey, now guess what? You have to play left tackle now for the Steelers, right? It's an entirely different muscle group. It's
right.
real hard to do. It's really hard to do, and your performance is going to suffer. But now I think we've got everybody in the positions that they played in college for
Mhm,
our first offensive line, right? And our snaps are good, right? I think our offensive line is going to look solid and is going to be able to protect Aaron Rodgers, which is the most important part when you got a 40-year-old out there,
Yeah, because he's
play
not
caller.
athletic.
No,
He's not athletic. So I mean,
no,
even if he was
yeah,
athletic as a kid,
yeah,
20 years of football catches
yeah,
up to you. So he's not going to be running out of the pocket doing a bunch of stuff. You might get a
no,
short roll out of him.
yeah,
So the Steelers, like the Bengals, are just going to have to run the football, and they're going to have
yeah.
to rely on that. So you're going to need your offensive line.
Yeah. Yeah. When they did the tush push, right? Aaron Rodgers just turns around and just goes like this because he's not going to. Why would you go in and be a part of that, right? You don't need to be a part of
Right.
that. You've got an offensive line. They
You
should be
throw
able to
Drew
get.
Aller out there.
Yeah.
Throw Mason Rudolph out there.
Yeah. You just hand the ball off to your running back, right? And say, here you go. Go get your 3 yards, right? So that's what Aaron Rodgers is going to do. And if he's anything like he was last year, right? He was one of the fastest throwing quarterbacks, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, if he can throw in 2 seconds or 2.5 seconds, in the pocket, boom, 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 they're going to be successful. So,
Right, and then that's what you need Joe Burrow to do: get rid of the ball.
yeah, timing wise,
You just need him to get rid of the ball. Like,
yeah,
get the ball, get rid of the ball.
your O line's not going to hold it for 4 or 5 seconds. That
Even
ain't
if you had
happening.
like all pro offensive linemen, that's not going to happen. So,
No.
I mean, you just got to get the ball, get rid of the ball, and he's got receivers that can do it. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not. I mean, Baltimore to me, I think it's the Bengals or the Ravens in this division, and I think Pittsburgh can make it interesting. I'm just not sure where you're at, and I'm not sure with the coaching changes. And you've got Aaron Rodgers, but where's the defense at? Where all the there's age is going to catch up to you guys. I mean, that's why I put you at third. But I'd like to think, the Browns could get third. They're not. They're not getting third. This is going to be like a top 5 pick team. Is what I'm looking at. Like,
Yeah.
Unless lightning strikes, I don't see it getting any better for the Browns.
All right.
Anything else going on around the league you want to talk about? I haven't really paid much attention to anything else. I know Baker Mayfield's out there. I want $50 million, and Baker Mayfield is like the new Joe Flacco, or like who's like the most average guy you can think of. It used to be Joe Flacco, but I can't think of who like the most like. I watched a guy who like would rate quarterbacks on like how many Flaccos they are. He's 1 Flacco, he's 2 Flaccos, he's 3 Flaccos. Flacco was the baseline. He's actually gotten better as he's gotten older, but it used to be that Joe Flacco was the epitome of like the mediocre quarterback. And that's kind of like what Baker Mayfield is. He has moments where he's good, just like Flacco did. He's got moments where he's really, really bad, just like Flacco did. But in the end of the day, he's going to throw you some interceptions. He's going to throw you some touchdowns. He's going to win you a couple of games. He's going to lose you a couple of games. And Baker wants to go out there and get paid like he's like Patrick Mahomes or something. And like he's not Pat, but that's kind of Baker's like mental issues that he has to overcome. Like
that's funny you said that about Flacco. And I mean, I think the same thing about Andy Dalton, right?
Andy Dalton's another perfect example of that.
Yeah.
Right?
He's 3 Daltons.
He's 1 Dalton, 2. He's worth 3 Andy Daltons. Like that is a great example. Like
a serviceable quarterback. Quarterback. Yeah.
He's like a Dak Prescott, right? He's going to win you some games. He's going to lose you some games. It's just, I don't know. That's why you can't think of them, because they're just so average, or like nobody stands out. Like, it's like, okay, this is like some guy hanging out down there. Like, and that's who Baker is. Like, he will, because of his personality, the highs will be higher and the lows will be lower. Like, he's going to get out there and be like, I'm disrespected by the Tampa Bay organization. Okay, dude, how many teams are going to disrespect you before people realize that maybe it's just in your head?
Yeah.
Like the Panthers didn't disrespect you. The Browns really didn't disrespect you. They just got sick of your crap. And like the Rams didn't disrespect you. Maybe it's just you. Maybe you have an issue.
Right.
And maybe that's why people don't want to pay you.
Yeah. Well, back to Joey Porter Jr. Another one of the things the back office is looking at is they've gotten 0 phone calls for this guy.
Yeah, like that wouldn't surprise me.
0 phone calls. Like, so if you want to be, if you believe you are one of the top 5 cornerbacks in the NFL, why isn't our phone ringing off the hook right now?
Well, isn't Porter like in the middle of a lot of your personal foul plays too?
Yeah, no, I mean,
I can see him being in the middle of a lot of fights if he's holding people and people are getting sick of it because they want to catch footballs because they want to get paid and they're not getting penalties called. So it literally looks like they're just trash out there. Yeah. And, those guys want paid too. And so I could see somebody getting upset, like, you just stop holding me. I want to get paid. I want my catches.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean it's a culture thing, and just like you said, no, I mean it's as no, I mean he is Pittsburgh royalty. No, I mean this is a guy that shows up at every Steeler game. Like he just hangs out in Pittsburgh, like him and his dad, right? I mean they live
Mm-hmm.
there, right? I mean so it's he's a local celebrity, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the local celebrity wants to get paid, so I hope Joey Porter Jr. finds exactly what he wants, and I hope the Steelers, that Rooney's Rooney, right? No, I mean it's the way it's always been, and we've seen this.
I'd say Rooney's model made sense in the 90s and early 2000s, but I don't know. I don't think it
Yeah.
makes sense anymore. Nowadays, like, again, for much people trash the Browns, they do a lot right. They just don't win on the field. As an organization, they do a
Yeah.
lot right, right? If you like a guy, sign him early. As
Yeah.
soon as they become eligible for an extension, sign
Hmm.
the extension. You'll get them cheaper doing it that way than you will waiting until their contract ends and then give them an extension at that
Yeah.
point. It'll be
Yep.
cheaper over the long haul, the entire contract.
Right.
And it's take care of your people. Like
Hmm.
the idea that I'm going to sit and negotiate, like that was before there were like salary caps, before like guaranteed contracts, which there aren't really a lot of guaranteed contracts anyway. But
Hmm.
that was when there was like a labor dispute over how much money you're going to spend on a team or not. But now that it's all set and
Yeah.
you're trying to manage a cap, it doesn't make sense.
Hmm.
If the Steelers want him, they just need to go sign him. And if you
Yeah.
sign him for what he asked for today, it's still going to be cheaper than to sign him for what he's asking for tomorrow. So decide if you want him. If you want him, sign him. If you don't want him, trade him. I mean, do right by the players, do right by your organization, and no part of this is anything good going on for the Steelers, for Porter, or even the NFL.
Right. Yep. I agree. Yeah. Should get it done.
Yeah,
Hopefully it
they just
happens
need to get it
today.
done. Well, the Browns got rid of Myles Garrett after
Hmm.
his stupidity. I mean, he's probably going to go in the Hall of Fame as a Brown unless he convinced somebody to like put him in as a Ram or something. But I mean, he's done all of his major work as a Brown. He's set the sack record. He's won 2 Defensive Players of the Year. I mean, he's basically the Cleveland Brown. And he wanted out. Do right by your players and let him go.
Yeah.
Clowney wanted out. They just did right and let him go. Zadarius Smith wanted out. They did right by them. They traded him when he wanted out. Do right by your players. Pay your players. Do
Hmm.
right by your players. It's a business. We're all in this together. This
Hmm.
kind of me versus the players mentality that like was so big in that 90s, early 2000s stuff, that
Yeah.
model just doesn't work anymore. And the Roonies need to realize that like we can save ourselves some money just by paying these people.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and you've got a situation where the Steelers are, definitely going to win more than, they're going to be better than a 500 team this year, just like they have in all other years. And as a player, right? Maybe you want a Super Bowl ring, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's, and the Steelers aren't a guaranteed shoe-in Super Bowl ring team. They're just not
Right.
anymore. They were, but they're not anymore. Not in this league. Not anymore. So you have to think. Hey, the Browns suffer from players not wanting to play there. They'll never get a Super Bowl ring, right? So they're locked in there, right? So
Mm-hmm.
they know what they're getting. But then yeah, Kenny Pickett goes to the Philadelphia Eagles, right? And he gets a Super Bowl ring, right?
Great.
So what do you want? Well, what do you really want in life? Is it the big bag? Is that what you're playing for? Are you playing for a Super Bowl ring so that you can go to the Hall of Fame? That's it. That's the thing is Miles needs a Super Bowl ring to go to the Hall of Fame, right? Very few players get there unless they have one and earn one,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, maybe that's what's in his head. I need to play for
Well,
a
I
team
mean,
that's in contention.
literally said that when he wanted to trade. He was like, I want to win a Super Bowl. I want out of here because I want to win a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And to Miles, I mean, it's not like Miles was wrong. And I'm not one of those that think the Browns are perpetually this inept organization and they're losers, but they'd set themselves up to be contenders and traded for Deshaun Watson when they were at the height of ready to be a contender. And that Deshaun Watson trade just went nowhere, right? And then without the quarterback, you could have the whole team set up, which they did, right?
They
And without
did.
that quarterback, you're not going to be able to do anything. So then, like, you have to like ride that out. I mean, you're then like, okay, well, we still have the team, but we get to do Deshaun next year. We do Deshaun next year. Eventually, it's like we're past their prime. Right.
Right.
And last
Right.
year was the kind of like, we need to start over year. So they started
Yeah.
drafting all the defense. This year they've drafted all offense. So this is year 2 of like, I don't know how long of a rebuild. And
Right.
the positive here is that the Browns no longer have Paul DePodesta, so he's not going to screw it all up. And you're going to let Andrew Berry actually do it. But at the same time, Miles knows what was happening. He knew that they were getting ready to recycle, and they
Yeah.
wanted him to be like the name
Yeah.
that's there to be the franchise to keep
Mhm.
people going. And Miles is like, I'm not here to carry your franchise. I'm not here to carry your PR campaign. I'm not. I mean, he did his part. He got a $60 million bonus for breaking the NFL sack record last year. And now he's just like, Miles has got to take care of Miles. I want out of here. So they traded him to a
Yeah.
Super Bowl contender.
Yeah. The only thing he has left, right, is to get a Super Bowl ring to get him into contention to be in the Hall of Fame, right? Because once you stack $100 million in the bank, Joel, like it's not a money thing, right? It's not,
Right.
I mean, you can pay for all of your family members and all of their family members for generations and generations with $100 million in the bank, right?
Mhm.
It then just means, are you going to be a bust? Are you going to get one in the Hall of Fame, right? Is your bust going to be there or not?
Mhm.
So,
And that's what he's concerned with. Like, that's what's first and foremost on Miles's mind.
that's
and
fair.
and that's
Yeah.
why. I mean, that's why the Browns traded him, right? I mean, it's not people think, oh, the Browns got sick of him and traded him because he's a terrible person. I didn't like Miles
Yeah.
Garrett because he played his whole career for Miles Garrett and not the Cleveland Browns. How many times this guy jumped off sides? It led to first downs. It led to scores. I mean,
Well,
he was more interested in getting the sack than he was getting the stop and getting off the field.
Yeah. And
You know,
you got Jared Verse now, who's not competing against anybody, and he's going to just have amazing numbers this year.
Mhm.
I believe. I think he's just gonna absolutely post critical killer numbers, and he's young enough that he could go and then move on to a team that is going to win him Super Bowls. So,
well, I
mean,
do think the Browns have decided they're going to extend him as soon as they possibly can.
mhm,
I mean, I know there's a thought out there that the Browns will never be good because they haven't been good for like 20 years, but I
mhm,
do think there will come a time that the Browns will be good. It's really a matter of you have to build a team and then put a quarterback in that team. And right now they're building the team. And
yeah,
next year you got to find a quarterback, or the year after you have to find a quarterback. But you
mhm,
got to build that team. They still have to build the offensive line, and they still have to build some few key areas on defense. They need some defensive back help, but I don't know. I don't think the Browns are going to be bad forever. But that said, if they lose 11 games this year, the Browns will reach a 500 level. And that is actually kind of depressing because, this was the most winning football team. This was like the New York Yankees of the NFL. They owned everybody and
yeah,
everything for decades. And then that team leaves, and had we still had the team that is the Ravens, we'd be nowhere near a 500 record as an organization. But 20 years of just nothing but losing has basically erased our winning percentage as an
right,
organization. And
mhm,
that's terrible. I mean, you can't just start an organization in January and say, oh, by the way, you're drafting in March. How can you do that to a team? You're telling them you're going to be around in 2000, and the team is on schedule to like have everybody in place and begin
mhm,
scouting and everything for 2000. And then you say, oh, by the way, we're going to move this up a year and we're giving you 2 months notice. You can't draft people. You set somebody behind the 8 ball, and it's hard when you start off in crisis to
mhm,
ever leave crisis mode. And I think
yeah,
this is part of what the Browns have been dealing with for 20 years, is that you can't leave crisis mode. And you get new owners that are like, I'm here to win now, and panic, and they act like they're in crisis all the time. And there'll come a time when it'll get
mhm.
straightened out. It's just sad that you basically have to take down what was once the apex of the NFL before it can actually happen. And it's truly is sad, in my opinion. But that's an asset the NFL should want to have back.
Yeah, but you guys are going to get a new stadium, right?
Well, the NFL's already told us with the new stadium, they're still not going to bring the Super Bowl to Cleveland. Like, you get a new stadium, right? And like
Uh-huh.
the 49ers got like 2
I
Super
did.
Bowls already.
Yep. Uh-huh.
And the Rams have had a Super Bowl, and they're going to have their second Super Bowl. The
Yep.
Browns are going to get a new stadium. The NFL has already told them they're not going to get a Super Bowl because they don't believe the infrastructure is in place around the stadium to host a Super Bowl. Like, what
Yeah.
the hell do you have to do? Like you put a state of the art facility, one of a kind state of the art facility up, and you're
Mhm.
still being told you can't do stuff.
Yeah. Honestly, I was flabbergasted when the draft came to Pittsburgh, right? I was like, are we sure we're going to shoehorn all these people into this town? I don't even know how that's going to happen. It was crazy. And
I mean,
they were dealing like the 2 weeks before, right? They're like, what are we going to do with all the homeless people and stuff? What are we going to do with them? So then they said
late.
yeah, they said teams of people, out there on the street. So, hey, bub, you got to move. You got to move the camp. Gotta go just for the draft to happen.
That's why I would see a hard time having the draft in LA.
Yeah.
Unless you put it in like Hollywood and then you kind of cleaned up Hollywood Avenue. I mean, like, because you'd have to have somewhere for the fans to hang out and do something. I mean, I don't know where you would do it. Like,
Right.
unless they really think they could have it all right there by the stadium, but I don't think there's enough room down there by the stadium
Yeah.
to make that even happen.
Everybody has their, interesting avenues and stuff like that. And I think I hope the Brown Stadium is amazing. And I hope I'll go up and see it once it's done,
Well, I think the one thing the Haslams are really good at is like facilities, all these kind of things. What they're really bad at, I mean, they're good at facilities, they're good at paying players, they're good at taking care of players. I mean, most people love to play there unless they're playing with Myles Garrett, then they hate him. But most people love playing in Cleveland. Even Baker Mayfield came out and said, my best experience as a football player was playing in Cleveland. And he's like, they have generational Cleveland fans. And when it's high in Cleveland, you're doing well. It's like nothing else, right? I mean, Baker Mayfield said this recently in an interview, and they do a good job of all that surrounding stuff. But they're so intent, like we have to win now, that they make all kinds of idiotic football decisions that keep your team losing football games. And they just need to chill the crap out and let Andrew Berry do his job. And once you've gotten rid of Paulie Podesta, Berry has had at least one good draft. We'll see what draft number 2 looks like. And just let him build a football team. Like get over it. Like, you've done everything you can. You got a new stadium. The stadium was crap. I mean, it is a bad stadium up there, and it was built very quickly. Again, we're getting preparing for 2000, and they move it up a year, and you have to get into that stadium. They had to quick build that stadium, and then you wonder why it has all these problems. Well, you built it really, really fast to accommodate a timeline that wasn't originally the timeline. And so, I mean, I think that that stadium is another perfect example of the issues with the Browns, right? The foundation was terrible. So you had to live with it, and you have to keep remodeling it and remodeling it and remodeling it until you can actually sit there and just do it right.
Yeah.
I don't know. Getting off on the Browns. They do everything well except for the actual game stuff. That is just terrible. And I'm hoping Monken can change some of this stuff. And getting Myles Garrett out of there will help. Believe it or not.
We'll see. I'm very stoked for week 1 of the regular season.
Who you guys got week 1? What NFC South team are you playing?
What? What are you talking about? NFC South.
I think every team in the division plays the NFC South team. Like, the Ravens got somebody in the NFC South. The Browns got an NFC South game. I think the Ravens have the Falcons. I think
it's like we've got the Falcons.
Okay, you got the Falcons. Then
yeah.
Okay, I'm pretty sure every team plays an NFC South team to start the season. I think we got the Bucks, maybe. I think we got the Bucks, then we got the Panthers.
Okay.
Because, the last place team playing the 2 first place teams in the NFC South to start the season makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And having, I promise you, the Ravens are playing some joke of a team to start the season.
We've got Steelers have the Falcons week 1.
Good luck beating up on Stefanski. That's a 1-0.
Yeah.
Stefanski's just straight garbage as a coach. So
week 2 against the Patriots.
That Patriots are not as good a football team as they came out to be.
Week 3 we get the Bengals.
Okay, there you go. There's a game.
Week 4 we have the Browns.
Well, there's 3-1. There you go. Let's see. Oh, man, don't ever ask ChatGPT for a schedule, man. They come up with all kinds of crap.
It'll make one for you.
All I want is the actual schedule. I don't care who they're playing. I know who they're playing. I want to know when they're playing them. I was joking they come up with garbage teams to start with. Let's see if I can get it. Yeah, no matter how many times you ask, they're not going to give you the actual schedule. Oh, here we go. Oh, they start at the Colts. So it depends on which Colt team shows up, right?
Yeah.
Because they're then they play New Orleans, right? So then you get the last place NFC South team. And then they got Dallas, which is going to be in Rio de Janeiro. So again, which Dallas team is showing up? Then they're then they got the Titans at home, then the Falcons, then the Browns, and then their first real game is week 7, unless you count that Cowboys game as a real game.
That's a pretty real game, I think. That'll be a game.
Who are the Cowboys? We beat them every time we play.
So it'll be good. It'll be good. It'll be a good season. Let's see. We've got second game of the preseason coming up on Sunday.
Yeah. So are we? Dang it! I think we're out of the NFC North at this point. I think we're playing Buffalo. We got Buffalo. That's what we got.
We got the Jets.
Yeah, we're back into the AFC East portion of our preseason schedule. Yeah, I mean, you guys play the Packers, right? So every team in the NFC or AFC
Mhm.
North played the NFC North. So, the Lions were at the Bengals, the Packers were at the Steelers, the Browns were at the Bears, and the Vikings,
Mhm.
I'm assuming, I assume the Ravens played. I mean, I didn't really pay attention to that Ravens game. No, the Ravens played the Eagles. So maybe they'll get the Vikings next week. We'll see.
Vikings didn't look too bad.
Well,
They played the,
I know this is getting kind of long, but that's
Start.
another discussion. It's funny because somebody had mentioned, I saw this on Twitter, where J.J. McCarthy got benched for Kyler Murray. And they pointed out at this point in time, no players from that NCAA championship team, the Wolverines, Michigan, the cheating team,
Yeah.
no member of that team is starting in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
And I rebutted, Mason Graham is starting the NFL. And then somebody wrote back to me and said, Mason Graham was a freshman and he played 3 years after that. But Mason Graham was rotating. He wasn't actually like starting on the team. He was rotating through that team.
Yeah.
But
I love
starters.
I love Jackson Dart's quote was like, I don't know why every time I get hit, I end up getting into the blue tarp room.
Okay.
Because they think he's got a concussion. And how about Tua Tagovailoa, right? Dropping snaps.
So what you're saying is that Kevin Stefanski is down there mismanaging the Falcons?
Yeah.
Who would have thought that was going to happen? Nobody in their right mind would have thought that Kevin Stefanski would go down there and totally mismanage his team.
It's going to be fun to watch.
He's going to have to watch the tape. Watch the film. That was actually Hugh Jackson's line. I got to watch the tape. His was, we got to be better. I got to be better. This is on me. This was Stefanski's line.
Right.
That's on me. I got to coach better. We got to coach better. Wait for that to come out of Atlanta. I actually have a friend who's a Falcons fan, and no more than they hired Stefanski, I sent him an apology. Like, I'm sorry. I know we wanted rid of Stefanski, but I didn't realize he was going to go down and destroy your organization.
In 1 year.
It'll
be complete. Love it. Awesome, Joel. Well, I think we will cinch this one up. Very long, but it's been a little while since we got together, so glad to do this.
Had to catch up on all that.
Absolutely. So, keep an eye out for next week's edition as we go over week 2 of preseason.
Hey, I want to make a quick plug. Tippecanoe Lodge 174. If you're listening, we have a Pick'em League. It is a non-gambling league. We're not putting money in. We're not getting money out. We're just going to pick them against the spread. We're picking all of our picks against what the spread is in terms of 6 points, 3 points, whatever. If you need help figuring that out, let me know. I'll teach you how to read a spread. We're picking against the spread, and it's all for bragging rights. I'm looking to talk to our worshipful master about getting a trophy or some kind of significant thing for the person who wins. Hopefully something that you can either wear to Lodge, like a pin or a WWE championship belt or something, and, brag it up. And honestly, it's all more for the conversations to have, because Pick'em does bring up a lot of conversation about football, makes you learn football, makes you understand football, makes you get into the game, and it's a lot more fun when you do it that way. So if you're interested in the Tippecanoe Lodge 174 for Tippecanoe Lodge member of 174, we're not doing this outside the lodge, but Tippecanoe Lodge 174, hit me up. I'll get you the link, or look at our Facebook page, our private Facebook page. It's on there as well.
Yeah, get those folks that are not into the old sports ball into the sports ball and stuff.
I had
fun like we are.
Yeah, I had 3 people said they were going to sign up, but none of them have so far, and I sent them links, so we'll see.
Okay, well, hopefully they sign up and we make this exciting, Joel.
Paul Daffke.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us for this edition of the Hash Marks and Working Tools podcast. This is Mike McDermott and Joel Cade. Thank you again, and we will see you next week. Take care.
See ya.